A mother's cry, a sound torn from the throat of despair, echoed in the desolate chamber. "My poor child," she wept, her tears tracing paths of grief on her cheeks. "Barely drawn your first breath, and they have already carved you apart. They took your bones, your heart, your very eyes. It is my fault. Your mother could not protect you." Her voice broke, a fragile thing shattered by sorrow. "In your next life, do not be born a human." Her plea faded into the encroaching darkness, a darkness that was soon disturbed by the arrival of 5 figures, each a shadow cast long by the setting sun of morality. They were the dregs of the martial world, villains whispered about in fearful tales. "This blood sword you forged from the lives of 100 men is nothing special, old monk," one sneered, his voice a low growl. "Perhaps my venomous creatures will prove more to your liking," another hissed, his form plump and unsettling. A third, a lithe man with the predatory grace of a thief, lamented, "How am I to help? Steal his undergarments? The damned monk never bathes." Their bickering ceased as they gathered around the small broken form on the stone slab. They saw not a child, but the wreckage of one. A gaping cavity where a heart should be. An empty socket where a right eye once was. Even his rib cage was incomplete, 2 bones missing. "Such a perfect, chaotic, sacred body," one murmured, a rare note of pity in his voice. "To be savaged like this, the people of the outside world grow more depraved by the day." "Truly a pitiable sight," said the one they called the old monk, his hands coming together in a prayer gesture. "Amitabha Buddha, little benefactor, this old monk will grant you passage to the next life, to free you from the suffering of this one." "Wait," the poison master interjected, his eyes gleaming with a sinister light. "When he's dead, give me the corpse. The maggots I could raise on a chaotic sacred body, they would be magnificent." The monk sighed, his gaze turning to a pulsating obsidian object held in his hand. It was a heart, but not a human one. It thrummed with ancient, malevolent power. This demon heart, even after countless years of suppression, it is still so powerful. He looked at the child, then at the heart. An idea, desperate and terrible, was born. If we let this thing escape, we will all perish. But perhaps... He looked at his companions. These are chaotic divine artifacts. They can help us diffuse the pressure. With a grim consensus, they began a ritual. The monk placed the demon heart into the child's empty chest. It immediately tried to seize control, to devour the infant's soul and possess its magnificent vessel. But the innate power of the chaotic sacred body resisted, a pure, unyielding light pushing back against the encroaching darkness. "It's not enough," the sword master yelled. "The demon heart will win." "I have prepared for this," the monk stated, his fingers weaving intricate patterns in the air. "I will use the Golden Soul Curse to create a second layer of defense. It will not be eroded by the demonic power." He pressed his palm to the child's forehead. A faint golden light enveloped the boy's spirit. The child survived. He was a paradox, a vessel of sacred potential, powered by a core of pure demonic malice. The 5 villains, trapped together in the desolate prison of Han Son by an unbreakable formation, had found a new, shared purpose. "His name will be Feng Lin," the monk declared. "From this day forward, we 5 will raise him. We will teach him everything we know. When he is strong enough, even if the demon heart rebels, he will have the power to suppress it." And so began the education of a monster. The years passed in the cold solitude of Han San. Feng Lin grew, a boy with an old soul and a body that learned with terrifying speed. "Grand Master, let me down! I know I was wrong!" a young Feng Lin cried out, dangling upside down from the massive hand of his butcher master, Montu. "How long have you been practicing the Star River Fist?" Montu grunted, his voice a rumbling avalanche. 3 years? Am I terrible? Butcher Master said he mastered it in 3 days. Montu scoffed, a sound like grinding stones. 3 days? That old braggart is lying. It took him at least 3 years. This is the ultimate art of the Star River Sect. Star River Sect? Peng Lin asked, his world confined to the mountain and his 5 strange fathers. Yes, your butcher master was once a member, before he was cast out for eating people. Feng Lin's eyes widened. Is Butcher Master a bad person? The Grand Master, the old monk, stroked his beard. He is. In this place, child, besides myself, they are all bad men. Your Butcher Master loves the taste of human flesh. Your Poison Master is a walking apothecary of death. Your Sword Master forges his blade with the souls of his victims. And your Flower Master, the monk leaned in conspiratorially. He is the worst of all. He was once the most infamous flower-picking thief in the world. A chorus of indignant shouts rose from the others. You old charlatan, don't you dare poison his mind. Little Feng Lin, your Grand Master is tricking you. Of all of us, he has killed the most people. Feng Lin shook his head. Grand Master wouldn't even harm a mosquito. You're lying. The monk chuckled. Clever boy, you don't believe them. Good. Now come, I will teach you a technique that you must inherit. You will be the first. But a shadow loomed over their strange family. The demon heart within Feng Lin was weakening, not in its malice, but in its will to fight. After years of failed attempts to possess the boy, it was slowly giving up, its life force fading. Lin's heart is failing, the Poison Master observed one night as they watched the sleeping boy. If this continues, he will die. The demon heart's consciousness remains, the Sword Master added. If we do not purge it, it will become a catastrophe later. Suddenly, the boy sat up, a pained expression on his face. Grand Master, why is everyone still awake? In his small hand, he held the pulsating demon heart, having somehow pulled it from his own chest. I feel blocked. Something is stuck inside me. Can you help me remove it? The 5 masters exchanged looks of sheer terror, which they quickly masked. Of course, my child, the Grand Master said, his voice impossibly calm. He took the heart. Now, go back to sleep. As Feng Lin lay down, the masters let out a collective, silent sigh of relief. The chaotic sacred body was even stronger than they had imagined. It had not only resisted the heart, but had begun to master it. Feng Lin's training intensified. He absorbed their knowledge like a sponge. My swordsmanship has but one word: cleave, the Swordmaster instructed, his eyes like chips of obsidian. Use the blood of your enemy to consecrate your lifeblood sword. I think I understand, Swordmaster, Feng Lin replied, mimicking the form perfectly after a single demonstration. Nonsense, Montu boomed. His simpleton techniques are too easy. My devouring divine art will take you years to learn. A few days later, Feng Lin demonstrated the devouring divine art, consuming the energy of a massive boulder until it crumbled to dust. Like this, Butcher Master? He mastered the poisons of Bao, the stealth and seduction arts of Hua, and the profound Buddhist techniques of the Grand Master. By the age of 18, he stood before them, a young man radiating an aura of immense, multifaceted power. Masters, he said, his voice now a calm baritone, I have learned all your skills. When can I go down the mountain? The Grand Master looked at him with a mixture of pride and apprehension. Lin, you have mastered many disciplines, but your own inner power is not yet consolidated. When you reach the heavenly spring realm, you may leave. The boy bowed. I will not disappoint you, Grand Master.
He achieved it in less than a year. His talent was terrifying. The day came for him to depart. "Remember, Lin," the butcher master advised, "the world below is not like this mountain. Be cunning. Women are tigers. You must remember this. Keep your distance, especially from the beautiful ones. They are rarely good." "Do not worry, Flower Master," Fong Lin replied calmly. "If I see a woman, I will cut her down with one strike. No more words will be necessary." The sword master clapped him on the shoulder, a grim smile on his face. "He is like me. Remember this, boy. With no woman in your heart, drawing your sword makes you a god." The Grand Master placed a hand on his shoulder. "We are trapped here on Hansan. From now on, you can only rely on yourself." Fong Lin looked at the 5 men who had raised him, 5 monsters who were the only family he had ever known. "Though the world may revile you as villains, in my heart, you are my dearest kin. I swear to you, one day I will grow strong enough to shatter this 10 directions annihilation grand array and grant you your freedom." With a final bow, he turned and walked down the mountain path, leaving the 5 masters to watch him go, a living weapon they had forged and unleashed upon an unsuspecting world. His first stop was a small estate belonging to the Trio family. He claimed to be a traveler who had met with misfortune, and they took him in. In their library, he learned that the world he thought he knew was gone. The Dai So kingdom had fallen long ago. This land was now part of the Nam Duyong nation. For a month, he did nothing but read, absorbing the history of the past 18 years. He became aware of a plot against the family, instigated by a jealous suitor of the family's daughter.
That night, under the cloak of darkness, Fong Ling visited the neighboring Tan estate. He did not issue a warning. He did not negotiate. He simply walked through their halls like a phantom of death, and by sunrise, the entire clan of over 1,000 people was dead. Not a single soul was left. He departed the Trio estate the next morning, leaving behind a small token of thanks and a legacy of terror that would be whispered for years to come. His journey took him to Huiet Oadia, the Blood Basin land, a lawless territory where the strong devoured the weak. Here he encountered the scattered remnants of the Thien La Jiao, a once powerful demonic sect. Their leader was long dead, and his followers were in disarray, squabbling amongst themselves while trying to retrieve their sect's ultimate technique, the Thien La Thon Kong, from the lair of a monstrous underworld beast. Fong Ling watched their pathetic power struggle with cold amusement. Then he acted. He walked into the beast's lair alone. When he emerged, the hulking, fearsome underworld beast trotted behind him like a tamed dog. He held a dusty scroll in his hand. The bickering sect elders stared in stunned silence. He effortlessly defeated their 2 strongest warriors, a man who could merge with a tiger and another who could become a giant serpent, breaking their ultimate techniques with casual disdain. Awed and terrified, they fell to their knees. "We greet the new sect leader," they roared in unison. With the Thien La Thon Kong, Fong Ling discovered he could control the life and death of every sect member. He now had an army. His first command was not to rebuild, but to gather. "We are going to the Blood Basin land," he announced. They would carve out an empire. His travels brought him to the bustling Longtong city. He sought a rare medicinal fruit, a bo kwa, which was being offered as a reward by the wealthy Bok family. Their daughter was afflicted by a mysterious poison that had stumped every physician in the nation. Fong Ling recognized the symptoms immediately. It was not a poison, but a parasite, the larva of a 7-colored heavenly butterfly, a creature his poison master had told him was extinct. Using a small ornate cauldron given to him by his master, he painlessly extracted the larva. To him, this rare and deadly creature was not a threat, but an unexpected prize. He would raise it. In gratitude, the Bok patriarch gave him the bo kwa fruit and another more mysterious reward, a heavy black stone that seemed to absorb all light and spiritual energy. Alone, Fong Ling tested the stone.
His strongest attacks barely scratched it. Finally, summoning the full power of his sword intent, he unleashed a devastating strike he called Dragon Cleave. The stone cracked open, revealing not a gem, but a shimmering ethereal essence, a sword soul, a treasure beyond price for any swordsman. He learned it had been discovered in a nearby abandoned mine. His path was clear. The ancient mine was a place of deep, sleeping power. His presence awoke another. From the depths emerged Kim Bat Han, a warrior of immense power and pride, the last of the ancient Golden Horn clan who had been slumbering for 20,000 years. A battle of titans ensued. The mine collapsed around them as they exchanged blows that could shatter mountains. Fong Ling, despite being vastly younger, matched the ancient warrior blow for blow. In the end, he was victorious, seizing Kim Bat Han's spear-like weapon, the heavenly piercing halberd. Defeated and shamed, the ancient warrior escaped using a forbidden art that burned his own life force. No sooner had one ancient threat vanished than another appeared. Fong Ling emerged from the ruined mine to find Oni Dao, a creature from the primordial Tomb clan, attacking a young noblewoman and her elderly guardian. The woman was Thun Quan Hainguet, whom he had glimpsed in passing. Without a word, Fong Ling intervened, his blade a blur of silver light. He destroyed Oni Dao's physical form, which was merely a clone, saving the pair. They were indebted to him, though they did not yet know his name. Fong Ling's power grew with every battle, every soul and technique he devoured. He became bolder, more ruthless. He came to a place called Vo Luong Thong, the immeasurable city, a haven for the most vicious criminals in the land. To temper his demonic arts, he decided to use the entire city as a whetstone. He sealed the gates and began a systematic slaughter. Tens of thousands died, their life force and terror feeding the demon heart within him, nourishing the dark powers he now wielded. This monumental act of evil did not go unnoticed. It drew the attention of a master of esoteric arts who cursed him with the Kao Tu Chu, the curse of seeking death.
It was an agony that gnawed at his soul, a constant, excruciating pain that could not be healed or ignored. It also drew the attention of Tu Truk Sutai, the purple bamboo abbess of the Pure Heaven Nunnery. A being of immense purity and power, she sensed the tsunami of negative karma emanating from Fong Lin and sought to purify him by crippling his cultivation, believing it to be the only way to save his soul and prevent further slaughter. They met on a desolate plain, light against darkness. The abbess was powerful, her Buddhist techniques forming a cage of golden light around him. But Fong Lin, even while racked with the curse's agony, was a cornered demon. He fought back with a ferocity that shocked her, unleashing the techniques of all 5 of his masters in a chaotic, deadly symphony. The battle was a stalemate. As he made his escape, he lashed out with a technique taught to him by his lecherous flower master, the fragrant stealing finger. It was a subtle, invasive touch, but for the abbess, a woman who had maintained her purity for centuries, it was a cataclysm. It shattered her vows, broke her concentration, and planted a seed of turmoil in her pristine Tao heart. Weakened by the battle and the curse, Fong Lin stumbled on, only to be captured by an even older evil, the Huiet Ma Lao Ko, the blood demon ancestor, and his wife. They saw him not as a man, but as a perfect ingredient, a prime vessel to be refined into a pill that would elevate their power. Strapped to their sacrificial altar, with his life force being drained away, Fong Lin reached his breaking point. He did not cry out for mercy. He laughed. And then he unleashed the full, untamed power of the devouring divine art. The tables were turned in an instant. The draining became a feeding. He consumed the blood demon ancestor from the inside out, absorbing the ancient evil's power and essence. The ancestor's wife, watching in horror, unleashed a final desperate attack as Fong Lin escaped. As he fled, he saw the conflicted abbess Tu Truk watching from a distance. She could have stopped him, but her heart was in chaos. She let him go.
He had no choice but to return to Hansan. He crawled back up the mountain, broken and cursed, to the only home he had ever known. His 5 masters were shocked at his condition. "The curse of seeking death," the Grand Master murmured, his brow furrowed. "This is an ancient and terrible magic." He placed his hands on Fong Lin, his own power flowing into the young man's body. The searing pain subsided to a dull ache. "I can only suppress it. I cannot remove it. To break this curse, you will need one of 2 things, the free and easy curse or the rebirth curse. Such arts are rare, but I have heard they may be found in the southern lands of Mu Kuang." His brief return was not just for healing, but for more learning. Seeing the man their boy had become and the dangers he now faced, his masters bestowed upon him their ultimate secrets. The Flower Master taught him the 9 extremes yin-yang art, a powerful dual cultivation method that could rapidly increase his power by harmonizing with a partner. The Sword Master taught him the final form of his art, Sword-Man Union, a state of oneness with his blade that granted incredible power at great risk. And the Grand Master, seeing the path his student was on, completed the Thien Law sect's ultimate technique, adding the final, devastating chapter, Thien Law Forbidden Annihilation, an art that could channel the power of the entire sect into a single world-ending strike. Rearmed and with his curse temporarily suppressed, Fong Lin returned to his fledgling empire. He found his Thien La sect under attack, besieged by the Huan Tian Dian, the mysterious Heaven Palace, the true power behind the Sao Hop tongue he had destroyed earlier. His followers were holed up in a forbidden cave, a place of ill omen. Inside, they discovered the Blood Demon ancestors' true lair, a treasure trove of demon crystals. Wasting no time, Fong Lin taught his loyal followers how to absorb these crystals. Their power skyrocketed. A group of scattered demonic cultivators transformed into an elite army of demonic super soldiers. Fong Lin led his new army out of the caves and fell upon the mysterious Heaven Palace like a plague. The battle was short and brutal. He personally devoured the palace's female leader, absorbing her power and leaving nothing behind. With this final victory, the entire Blood Basin land was his. All 36 cities bent the knee to the Thien La sect and its terrifying, enigmatic leader. But this empire was a stepping stone. He needed the cure. He set off for Mu Kuang, and as he journeyed, he sensed a familiar presence. The Abbess Tu Truck was following him, her aura a mix of righteous fury and profound confusion. Her Tao heart, broken by his touch, had become inexplicably linked to him.
To fix it, she felt she had to stay near him, to understand him, to either save him or destroy him. Their journey south was a strange, tense dance. He would taunt her with worldly pleasures, and she would resist, her resolve cracking with every passing day. They were attacked by 2 colossal ancient beasts, and to escape, she was forced to use a sacred treasure, the Snowy Realm Heavenly Scenery Vase, trapping them both inside a pocket dimension. But the vase had a price. It constantly drained the cultivation of those within. Fong Lin simply laughed. He began to practice the yin-yang art his Flower Master had taught him. As her power waned, his began to grow exponentially. For 3 years they were trapped together in the timeless void of the vase. The Abbess, watching her centuries of cultivation wither away while he grew stronger by the day, finally faced a choice: fade into nothingness or compromise her very soul. In the end, tormented and desperate, she joined him in the dual cultivation. When they finally emerged from the vase, 3 years had passed in the outside world. Both had achieved the Imperial Hang Realm, a massive leap in power. The Abbess, utterly ashamed and unable to face him, fled back to her nunnery. Fong Lin, more powerful than ever, finally set foot in the mist-shrouded lands of Miao Kuang. He soon found himself embroiled in the region's ancient tribal conflicts. He rescued a young couple from the Dothi tribe, who, in their gratitude, agreed to guide him.
He learned of a barbaric ritual where the powerful Mokthi tribe would demand young women from the Do Thi as sacrifices for their shaman god. To his surprise, he found Dao Kam, the doctor from the Bok family, among the captives. Fong Lin did not negotiate. He walked into the Mokthi village and slaughtered every last man, woman, and child. He freed the prisoners, but Dao Kam was horrified by his brutality. She pleaded with him to stop, to turn away from the demonic path. He sneered at her naivety and left her behind. Fate, however, was not done with them. They were both attacked and swallowed by a monstrous three-eyed toad demon. Trapped inside the beast's stomach, surrounded by corrosive digestive fluids, they were forced to work together. During the ordeal, something incredible happened to Fong Lin. He felt a searing pain in his back and chest as two new, pristine creation bones grew from his marrow, a sign that his chaotic sacred body was beginning to heal itself, to recreate what had been stolen from him. He finally reached his destination, the Lamthi tribe, the keepers of the rebirth curse. Their great priestess, an ancient and powerful woman, agreed to help him, but for a price. She needed an escort for her tribe's young warriors into the sacred Vuthan Dien, the shaman god palace, a place that opened only once every 1,000 years and was filled with both treasure and danger. Their rivals, the Xuanthi tribe, had hired a powerful outsider to aid them, Mok Uyen, a prodigy from the renowned Thien Dao Tong. Fong Lin agreed. Inside the otherworldly realm of the shaman god palace, he faced Mok Uyen. The prodigy, who was hailed as a genius in the outside world, was no match for him. Fong Lin utterly dominated the fight, killing Mok Uyen and every single member of the Xuanthi tribe. He took the prodigy's greatest treasure, the Kan King, a mirror that could manipulate space. To protect his secret, he used a newly learned curse to wipe the memories of the event from the minds of the Lamthi warriors he had protected. He returned victorious. The great priestess, true to her word, performed the ritual and cleansed him of the curse of seeking death. As an additional reward, she gave him a life heart stone, a treasure that could enhance the power of any artifact. But his actions had consequences. The Thien Dao Tong and the enraged Xuanthi tribe, learning of Mok Uyen's death, descended upon the Lamthi tribe, seeking vengeance. Knowing he was the true target, Fong Lin created a diversion. In a single night, he laid waste to the entire Xuanthi homeland, then fled north, running without rest back to his own territory. He returned to the Blood Basin land a changed man. The threat of the Thien Dao Tong was now a certainty. He could not risk his followers. In a display of incredible power, he wove space and energy together, creating a private pocket dimension, a small world hidden from all outsiders. He moved his most loyal followers and the entire Tianla sect into this sanctuary, where they could train in safety while he acted as lightning rod for the world's fury. Before facing his pursuers, he made a detour to the Nam Duong nation to visit its empress, Li Hong Thua. Their relationship was a volatile cocktail of violence and a strange, unspoken connection forged in his initial act of dominance.
Their reunion was just as intense, a storm of passion and conflict, before he departed for the Great Chu dynasty. He journeyed to the imperial capital, a sprawling metropolis, to participate in the Long Trung Dao Hoi, a grand assembly of the continent's best and brightest young cultivators. They gathered to comprehend the heavenly Tao divine stele, a monolith that offered profound enlightenment. He donned a simple iron mask, taking the alias Lam Fong. There, among the sea of geniuses, he saw familiar faces. Thueng Quan Hai Nguyet and her brother, the Abbess Tu Truc, watching him with an indecipherable expression, and Bok Oing, the girl whose life he'd saved, now the radiant and revered Holy Maiden of the Heavenly Sound Pavilion. He ignored them all. He walked through the crowd, his presence an undeniable force, and took one of the prime positions before the stele. Then he sat down and closed his eyes. He did not open them for 15 years. He entered a state of profound meditation, so deep it was legendary. The world moved on around him. Seasons changed, empires shifted, but he remained as still as stone.
The Great Chu dynasty, recognizing the unprecedented nature of his enlightenment, declared him a protected guest, forbidding anyone from disturbing him. Outside their borders, the forces of the Tian Dao Tong gathered, their hatred for him simmering over the long years, their vow of vengeance never forgotten. When he finally awoke, the world held its breath. The power radiating from him was so vast, so contrary to the natural order, that the heavens themselves took notice. Dark clouds boiled in the sky, and crimson lightning tore through the firmament. It was the Tian Chu Diadet. The heaven punishes, earth annihilates tribulation. A cosmic execution reserved for beings deemed too powerful to exist. He looked up at the raging sky and laughed, a sound of pure defiance. "The heavens do not accept me?" he roared. "Since the day I was born, this world has not accepted me. I was mutilated and left to die, and I did not. You think a storm can kill me now?" He met the tribulation not with fear, but with fury, and he survived. His enlightenment complete, his power consolidated, he calmly walked out of the capital. The Chu emperor offered mediation with the Tian Dao Tong. Feng Lin refused. Bak Oing and the Thuangquan siblings, who had waited for him all those years, offered him a powerful defensive artifact from their clan. He accepted their kindness. His first visitor was not an enemy, but an old rival, Kim Bat Huan. The Golden Horn warrior, now fully restored and stronger than ever, challenged him to a rematch. In an honorable duel, Feng Lin returned the warrior's halberd. They fought, and once again Feng Lin was victorious. Humbled and filled with respect for his opponent's power and integrity, the ancient warrior bent his knee and swore an oath of fealty. With his new powerful ally at his side, Feng Lin walked out to face his old foes. The entire waiting army of the Tian Dao Tong stood before him. The battle was a massacre. He and Kim Bat Huan were two gods of death wading through a sea of mortals. He cut down their elders, slaughtered their disciples, and finally stood before their terrified sectmaster. But just as he was about to deliver the final blow, a new power descended, an entity far beyond anyone present. An old man appeared from the void, his aura ancient and suffocatingly powerful. He was An Bat Quan, a member of one of the legendary Hidden World noble families, an acquaintance of a long-dead Tian Dao Tong elder. This was a being from a realm of power they could barely comprehend. Feng Lin was hopelessly outmatched. In a desperate act, Tu Truc, Bak Oin, and the Thuangquan siblings combined all their power to erect a defensive barrier, buying him precious seconds. Trapped but unafraid, Feng Lin looked at the terrified Hidden World elder he had captured. "Tell me," Feng Lin's voice was deathly calm. 18 years ago, the Feng clan of the Eastern Green Domain. Who destroyed them?" Under the threat of immediate oblivion, the elder confessed everything. He spoke of a child born with the legendary chaotic sacred body. He named the thieves, the Long Life Ye family and the Long Life Lin family, who each took one of his creation bones. The Sword Pavilion, which gouged out his chaotic divine eye, and the Flower God Palace, which ripped the heavenly Tao Sacred Heart from his chest. 4 great, hidden powers, the supposed righteous pillars of the world, had colluded to annihilate an entire clan for the sake of plunder. After the story was told, Feng Lin squeezed, and the elder's life ended. He turned to his shocked friends, who had heard every word. He slowly reached up and removed his iron mask. "What is my relationship to the Feng clan?" he asked, his voice a low, chilling whisper that carried the weight of 18 years of stolen life. "I am that child." He looked at the sky, at the faces of his friends, at the world that had tried so hard to erase him. A vow was forged in that moment, a promise whispered to the ghosts of his parents and his clan, a declaration of war against the gods of his world. "They thought I was dead," he said, a terrible, cold fire burning in his one remaining eye. "They were wrong, and I am coming to take back what is mine."
If you enjoy this video, please like, share, subscribe and hit the bell to the later update from my channel. Thank you for watching till the end and see you in the next video.